Section 5.3 is titled Solving Inequalities by Multiplying or Dividing. Our standard is still 8AF1, where we're solving inequalities with fractions, decimals, integers, or the distributive property, and also representing and solving real-world problems using linear inequalities. So let's write down some steps for solving inequalities. Similar to what we did when we would solve equations, we always want to make sure that we clear all the fractions. We divide both sides by the coefficient that's on the variable. And then a new set of instructions here, and this one's really important. When you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality sign. And that's a rule that you're going to need to remember for solving inequalities. And it kind of changes how your answer, the answer that you get, it will completely be different if you forget to do this. So please make sure you write all these steps down with like a big star or something by this one. Highlight it, circle it, cloud it, do something so that you remember that when you multiply or divide by a negative, when solving an inequality, you have to flip the symbol. So our first example is going to include that so we can see some practice. Again, remember, solving inequalities is like solving equations. Multiplication and division are opposite operations. So you always want to undo what you see by using the opposite operation. When we solve an inequality, we still want to solve for the variable m. And right now we see that it's being multiplied by a negative 3. So the opposite of multiplying by a negative 3 is going to be dividing by a negative 3. And I want you to think about what we just said in the last slide. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, and we've just done that, this 3 is negative, we need to flip the symbol. So instead of writing greater than, we're now going to write less than. And the reason we do this is because of the sign rules with multiplication and division. Because multiplying or dividing by negative will change the sign of your answer, we have to flip the symbol to accommodate for that. So the negative 3's are going to cancel out, and I'm left with m is less than 8. Negative 24 divided by negative 3 is 8. And now I can graph. 8 on the number line, 7 below, 9 above. I'm going to circle in the 8, open circle because we're just talking about the less than symbol, and we're going to shade to the left. That's the direction that the symbol is pointing. We have our variable on the left, so we can use that as a guide. Number 2, we have 6b is less than or equal to 30. So we have multiplication, 6 times b, we want to divide. You always do the opposite of what you see. So we get b is less than or equal to 5. Don't have to flip the symbol here because dividing by a 6, this was a positive 6. So we're going to plot 5 on the number line, 4 below it, and 6 above. We have less than or equal to. So that's a closed circle. We haven't seen one of these for a while. It's a closed circle at 5. And again, we're shading to the left. We're talking about all of the values that are less than or equal to 5. Remember, any answer that's on this part of the number line that's to the left of 5 will solve this inequality and be a true statement. Number 3, we have n divided by negative 3 is greater than or equal to 6. So this is division. Remember that the opposite operation would be multiplication. So we want to multiply both sides by negative 3. When you multiply by a negative, same as division, like the first example, we have to flip the symbol first. So if we're multiplying by a negative, we're flipping the symbol. The negative 3's cancel out, we're left with n is now less than or equal to negative 18. So on the number line, we're plotting negative 18. We need one number smaller, negative 19, and a number larger, negative 17. We're going to shade in our color in our circle, close our dot, because it's less than or equal to, and we're going to shade to the left. So all of the answers that are less than or equal to negative 18. Now if you forget to flip your symbol, you're going to shade the wrong way and get the graphing portion incorrect. So make sure that you flip your symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative. Example 4, we have 0.6 is greater than negative 0.2x. So this is multiplication. We want to divide by a negative 0.2. We're dividing by a negative because that's what's out in front. So you have a negative 0.2 in front of the x. We need to divide by a negative 0.2. And dividing by a negative, the very first thing that's going to do is flip the symbol. On the right-hand side, those two will cancel and we're left with x. And on the left-hand side, and you can use your calculator, 0.6 divided by 0.2, negative 0.2, is negative 3. But you can't stop here because before we can graph, we have to rewrite the inequalities so that the variable is on the correct side on the left. So when we rewrite it, you switch the x and the negative 3 around and you flip your symbol. This problem actually required us to flip our symbol twice. First we flipped it from multiplying by or dividing by a negative. Then we flipped it again so that we could rewrite it. So now we plot negative 3 on the number line. We need a number smaller than negative 3 and a number larger than negative 3. We're going to have an open dot at negative 3 because it's just greater than, and we're shading to the right this time. Now we're asked to write an inequality and solve, but we don't have to graph it. So the quotient of h and negative 6 is at least 5. Remember that quotient means division. So we're dividing h and negative 6. What does that look like? It looks like this. H over negative 6, or the fraction h and negative 6. Remember that fractions are division, and it says it's at least 5. At least is one of those that is a little bit confusing, but at least means greater than or equal to, and you can go back to your notes and look at that chart from the first lesson in this unit. So h divided by negative 6 is greater than or equal to 5. We're asked to solve, so the opposite of division is multiplication. We're going to multiply both sides by negative 6, and putting it in parentheses so we don't forget about the negative. Negative 6's will cancel out, bring down my h. Because I multiplied by a negative, I have to flip the symbol. So now instead of it being greater than or equal to, it's less than or equal to, and we get negative 30. H is less than or equal to negative 30. Number 6 says that students in the band are selling calendars. They earn 40 cents on each calendar they sell, and their goal is to earn more than $327. Find the fewest number of calendars they can sell and still reach their goal. So if they're 40 cents each, that means that for every calendar, we'll use C for calendars, they earn 40 cents. That's 40 cents times the number of calendars they earn, and they want to earn more than $327. So to find the fewest number of calendars, if we divide both sides by the 40 cents, that'll give us the number that will put us just over 327. So we're going to divide both sides by 40 cents, or 4 tenths. 327 in your calculator divided by 0.40. It's 817.5. And so we have to be kind of careful here. We can't sell a half of a calendar. So 817.5 is not the correct answer. We also know that in order to meet the goal, we have to sell more than this. So we can't say 817 because that would put us just shy of 327. So that means we have to round up. They need to sell 818 calendars. So not only are we writing and solving the inequality, but then you have to make sure that you understand the question that's being asked so you can get the correct answer of 818 calendars. Once you've finished with the 5-3 video, you need to show me your notes, and I'll give you the next set for practice.